The senator from Oklahoma.
Madam President, I know that the Senator from California, Senator Boxer, and I both want to say some thank yous for a lot of people who worked very hard. People don't realize how many people are involved. Quite frankly, a little bit of guilt always comes in to me because this is my 6th highway reauthorization bill. And it always ends up that I don't work as long as all the staff works. I mean, they're out there many nights to midnight and many nights all night long. So this was a good bill. It was tough doing it. From this point forward, we have the opportunity to send it over to the House. I've already had a communication with some of the House members who do want a multi-year bill, and the staffs are working together as we speak to pull this thing together so that we can pass one and get out of this long string of short-term extensions. These don't serve any useful purpose. But I do want to mention the names to get them in the record of those people who really put in the long hours. In my office, Alex Harrigan, he's been with me. We count this by over 12, I guess, over a dozen years. He is the leader on our side, put together a great team. Shant Boyajan is the guy that was the transportation expert in our end. He did a great job. We've had others just about the same, as good as he is in the past, but they all sweat. This guy doesn't do it. He just keeps a smile on his face. We have Shia Kaufman. Shia Kaufman came with an incredible bunch of experience, and we couldn't have done it without her. It's equally important to thank David Neapolitani and Andrew Dorman. David and Andrew worked for Senator Boxer and our experts and have been in the office working on this bill alongside with our staff. You know, it's kind of interesting because Senator Boxer and I you can't get any further apart philosophically. She's a very proud liberal. I'm a very proud conservative. And we're going to be fighting like cats and dogs over a lot of these over-regulations that's putting Americans out of business. But today, on this bill, we think alike, and we are working together. And I just am so proud of her staff working with my staff. Benita, now there's Benita, and she is probably the #1 hard worker sitting in the back over here on that side, which we really appreciate. Some days I don't appreciate, but I do all during this. So many others could have made the contribution to the success today, and it's important to thank my staff, Susan Bodine, for her work on the environmental provisions, Jenny Wright and Andrew Neely. I want to thank my communications team, Donnell Harder, who's here, and Daisy Latender, and Christina Baum, because they were working. They have to get the message out as to what we're doing, how significant it is. I mean, this is the most popular. People who are witnessing this today are witnessing the most popular bill of this entire year. You go back to any of the 50 states, and they're all going to say the one thing we want is a transportation system. And again, it's not just they want. This is what the Constitution says we're supposed to be doing. Article 1, Section 8 of the Constitution. Defend America and roads and bridges. And that's what we accomplished today. And there's some others outside of our committee. I want to thank Chairman Hatch, Chairman Thune, John Thune, Chairman Shelby, their staffs, Chris Campbell, Mark Prater, David Schweitert, Shannon Hines, and Jen D.C. I want to thank our leader, Mitch McConnell, who really came in and put this in a top priority. Without that priority, we couldn't have done it. And I know that Sharon Soderstrom and Hazel Marshall and Neil Kettengy and Jonathan Burks and Brenda Nunn were all involved. If you just permit me, 10 years ago today, it was the last time we passed a significant multi-year bill. And I remember standing right here at this podium, right when this moment came, and it was time to thank all these people who worked so hard. All of a sudden, the sirens went off and the buzzers, they said, evacuate, evacuate, bomb, bomb, and all of this. Everyone left. But I hadn't made my speech yet. And so I stood there I made it longer than I probably should have. And there's nothing more eerie than standing here in the chambers when nobody else is here and everybody else is gone. And I thought, after a while, I better get out of here. And as I walked out the front door and down the long steps, they'd already shut off the elevators and all that. It was dark. I saw a bulk of a man walking away very slowly. And I went down, as Ted Kennedy. And I said, Ted, we better get out of here. This place might blow up. He said, well, these old legs don't work like they used to. So I said, here, put your arm around my shoulders, and I put my head. Someone took our picture, and it was on the front of a magazine. They said, who said that Republicans were not compassionate? And I always think of that when we have one of these bills. And I say to my friend, Senator Boxer, with whom we worked so closely during this time and actually enjoyed it. And anytime you get a coalition between your philosophy and my philosophy, it's got to be right. It was, and it's over. I'll yield the floor to Senator Boxer.
Madam President.